All right, recording. This is Rob for our BSPU call. We're going to talk today about how to use and repurpose PR and media so you can get a steady flow of clients into your business. I'm going to share with you the details of how I'm doing it and even show you my campaign. As always, I'm going to reintroduce this as I shoot video from my iPhone that has a little bit better HD quality to it than Zoom does. And I'm going to teach first on the principles, and then I'm going to dive into the actual campaign or one specific campaign itself. And I'm going to share my screen and show you the details of all of that. Okay, so let's roll. Hey everybody, Rob Kosberg here with Bestseller Publishing. Got something really cool for you today. Those of you that already have a book or have a desire to get on media, radio, television, blogs, podcasts, etc. I want to share with you today how you can repurpose and use your media to get an endless flow and a steady flow of clients into your business. I'm going to share for a few minutes on the principles of it, how we do it at Bestseller Publishing, and how we teach our clients also to do it. But then I'm actually going to share my screen with you. And I'm going to share an actual campaign that we've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on that's made us tens and even hundreds of thousands of dollars with just one media placement that I got, actually two. I was in both Forbes and Entrepreneur magazine, and I'm going to share with you specifically Entrepreneur, one of those media placements. So here's some of the principles that you have to understand. First and foremost, you have to think in terms of what questions do I need to answer to a prospect, somebody that maybe is interested in what I offer? What questions do I have to answer to him or her so that they'll want to do business with me? Now, there are several questions, but I'm going to give you two that I think are the absolute most important. Number one is you have to answer, do you have something that will actually help your prospect to get the result that they want? So first and foremost, when you're giving any kind of content, whether it's this content right now that you're consuming, or whether you're doing something on PR and media, radio, TV, etc., you want to give content that your ideal client would say, you know what, that would really help me in my business. That's number one. And number two, something that you have to answer for them is, are you someone that is trustworthy and that they would want to work with? Well, here's the cool thing. PR and media, radio, TV, blogs, well-trafficked blogs and podcasts can answer these in a really, really big way. If you're on TV and someone sees you, or radio, or a blog, or media, and you're giving great content, you're sharing client successes, and you're being featured on somebody else's independent platform, then you've answered certainly that you're trustworthy, because this ABC affiliate or NBC affiliate or CBS or Fox, this well-trafficked blog or podcast in your industry, this radio station has, as a third party, validated that you are an expert and you are trustworthy. But because you're also sharing something that's really valuable with them, you've answered the first question, and that is you have something that can help them in their business. So here's the challenge with that, though. If you appear on a TV station or radio station or blog or podcast, then you get that immediate pop, right, of coming into somebody's world and them seeing you on that 5-minute TV segment or that 30-minute podcast interview or that blog post for that month. But then you go away. So the problem with PR and media is that, wow, you get this initial pop of it, which is fantastic. But if you don't have some kind of system in place to continue getting PR and media, then guess what? Even if you were on Good Morning America or the Today Show, or you were featured on Oprah Winfrey's network or Dr. Phil, you know, that goes away. It has a shelf life. So what you want to do is you need to find a way to repurpose this content, this PR and media, in a way that gets you in front of your ideal clients on a regular basis. So I'm going to give you 3 simple steps that you need to follow and that you need to do on a regular basis to repurpose your PR and media and get a steady flow of clients. And then I'm going to actually dive into a campaign of how we actually do this on a regular basis. Number one is kind of obvious, but I need to say it. You need to have a system in place to regularly get PR and media. Now, I've been on probably 7 or 8 different TV appearances. I used to have my own terrestrial radio show, and I've been on radio many, many times. I've been featured in Entrepreneur and in Forbes magazine. But what I really focus on right now are podcasts. I appear on 3 to 4 podcasts every single month. You may say, well, why? Simple. Number one, it doesn't require me to travel like TV would require me to travel. Number two, I've already been on all of these other different media platforms, and I can repurpose those things in the way that I'm going to show you in just a couple of minutes. But podcasts allow me to every single week, or like I said, 3 or 4 times a month, be on somebody's fresh new podcast, or one that's well trafficked that I can get on again after a year or 2 years, like Entrepreneur on Fire. John Lee Dumas gets 1 million downloads a month. I've been on there twice, and I've gotten clients from it each time I've been on. So you want to have a system in place to where you're getting on media, you're getting PR on a regular basis. If you don't have a system in place, then guess what? It's not going to happen accidentally for you, okay? That's number one. Number two, you have to have a simple, highly desirable offer that you can give to people to take the next step with you. Something that is simple but is highly desirable, where they can kind of effortlessly take the next step. We might call that a lead magnet. It's something attached to a website where someone gives you their email address in exchange for fill in the blank, a video series, a free book. It could be some type of PDF or tip or cheat sheet in what you do. Doesn't matter what it is, but obviously the more desirable it is, the better. That's number two, okay? So number one, system in place to get the media and PR in the first place. Number two, simple, highly desirable next step. And then number three, you need to repurpose the media and the PR, the best of the media and the PR on a regular basis. I don't repurpose all of my media, but I repurpose like my John Lee Dumas Entrepreneur on Fire podcast episodes. Why do I do that? Because it's a really, really well-known podcast, and the fact that I was on it builds trust with people that have never heard of me or met me, because they trust John Lee Dumas. They trust Entrepreneur on Fire. Same with Forbes magazine, same with Entrepreneur magazine, same with ABC, NBC, Fox News, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to take your best PR and media, right? The ones that answer the question of, do you have something that will help them, and can they trust you, right? So the best media you want to take and repurpose that. So let me take a minute now, and I'm going to go off the camera here, and I want to dive into the actual one of the campaigns that I want to share with you, where I was featured on Entrepreneur magazine, and exactly how I repurpose that to bring clients into my business literally every single week. Okay, so let's check it out. Great, so I stopped the camera, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen, and what I'll have Steve do is I'll have Steve basically edit in the section where I'm teaching from my screen into this video. So again, we can repurpose it, and I can share really valuable content with other people. Now, they're not going to get the option to have Q&A and all of that with me. They may one day if they become clients, but for now, it's at least a way for me to kind of eat my own cooking, right? I'm literally doing it as I'm teaching you how to do it, and that is to create the PR and media, even social media, and then have a highly desirable next step. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys, and let me show you a campaign that we run on and off that works like gangbusters. All right, bear with me a second while I go to the right element. Awesome. Okay, so now we're on my screen, and on my screen you see one particular Facebook campaign. This particular Facebook campaign is the campaign name Entrepreneur. So I was featured in an article in Entrepreneur magazine. This is it right here. How to make over $100,000 a month from writing a book. This was 8 or 9 months ago. It was a very, very successful article, over 1,300 shares. It was actually the #2 article of the entire month of December. I gave really, really great content in the article with points on how some of our clients are doing as much as 6 figures a month, $100,000 a month from writing a book. Now, for my ideal client, this is like right up their alley, right? This is something that they absolutely positively want because they want to take their book and turn it into a stream of revenue. Now, this article in the month of December of last year went bananas. I mean, with thousands of shares and hundreds of thousands of people that read it, fantastic boost. However, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, right now, no one is really finding this article organically, or very few people. So what do? Well, I run a Facebook advertising campaign directly to this article. Okay, now stay with me for a minute. Let me give you some of the details of this. You can see the lifetime of this campaign, I've spent $11,522.85. Now you may say, holy cow, that's a lot of money to spend. And yes, it is. But what have I received from it? Well, I've received many, many leads, email addresses, names, etc. I've received tons of goodwill because I've sent 300,000 people to this article. That's the reach of it. But here's the thing. Here's my offer, and I want to walk you through the details. On this page, and I use kind of a special software that I'll share with you. On this page, I offer people to take the next step of, are you interested in becoming a best-selling author, just like myself and my other clients? And I've had 153 people fill out an application to come into my world and have a call with me or one of my author development coaches. Now, that works out to be a little more than $75 per scheduled application. This is complete application, by the way. No incomplete. These are fully complete applications. Now, $75 to have a phone conversation and an application, you may say is really expensive, but actually that's about 2/3 of what our average price is that we pay for an application. In fact, our average strategy session application costs around $100. So this is 75% or so of that, and maybe even a little bit less. And what we found is these applications are really high quality because they're coming from people that are reading Entrepreneur Magazine, which is an ideal client for us, and they're seeing me as a featured expert in Entrepreneur. So here's what we do. We send people directly to the article from the Facebook ad. Let me go in steps. This is the Facebook. We have a bunch of different ad creatives, but this is one of the ad creatives that we use. We all know if you want to grow your business, having a book is the best way to do it. It's the question I get asked the most. Rob, how do I actually make money from my book? And then I talk about, hey, I was featured in Entrepreneur Magazine on how to make over $100,000 a month from writing a book. And you can see this particular ad we sent to about 24,000 people. It's got 172 plus comments or likes, 6 comments, 42 shares. But when someone clicks this, right, where they want to know more, they go directly to this page. Now, here's the cool thing about this page. This page is a Sniply page, okay? Sniply is SNIP.ly, Sniply. And what Sniply allows you to do, and I'll show you exactly how it works, is they allow you to put a call to action over the page itself. So you see this at the very bottom of the page. Are you ready to become a best-selling author? Click here. Now, Entrepreneur won't let me do that, okay? I can't do that on Entrepreneur Magazine's website. Why? Because they are sending ads. They have ads on the page that they're monetizing and making money from. However, Sniply allows me to create a link that in essence is the actual Entrepreneur article, but it allows me to put a call to action on there. So this tiny little call to action at the bottom here, if someone clicks it, then they go to my page. And my page is simply an application form with a video from me and also a bunch of other social proof from my clients and past clients, as well as case studies. and they fill out this application, which is a 6-page application culminating with name, email address, telephone number, etc. And then they go into a calendar of one of my author development coaches. We do these calls. These are consultative sales calls where we try to see if they're a good fit for us and we're a good fit for them, and then we make an offer. If you're one of my clients watching this, then 95% of the time, unless you were referred to us, this is the process that you came through one of these strategy session applications, right? And so we use this article in conjunction with paid advertising on Facebook, spending 11 grand just on this one campaign to get 152, 153 strategy session applications, of which it would have been even better if I actually had the data to show you how many of these people became clients. But I can tell you on average, it's about 7 to 8 to 1 return on investment. So if we spend $11,000, I'm going to make $75,000 to $80,000 for every dollar that we spend on Facebook. Now, I don't have those exact numbers handy for you, but I tell you what, I'll try to look them up and get them to you somewhere, on this post or in this training itself. So what I've done is I've taken this highly valued article, and by the way, I did the same with Forbes magazine. I took this entrepreneur article, which is, a really, really kind of high valued, trusted source that's featured me. I've found something really attractive, and you may say, well, Rob, you could come up with something more attractive than are you ready to become a best-selling author? And you may be right? There may be a lot of other ways that I could have come up with something more attractive, right? But this worked really well for me. People click it, or a percentage of them click it, and a percentage of them fill out this application to the tune of $75 per application. Now, the cool thing also about Sniply is Sniply will give you some statistics. So this is my Sniply dashboard, and you can see I got 11,520 clicks. So of the thousands of people that actually went to this site, this one campaign, now I had more campaigns, but this one campaign had 11,000 clicks. 1,000 people converted, which means that a percentage of the people that clicked on it actually converted and filled out the application completely. That's what I was looking for. So is this high or is it low? At the end of the day, to me, it doesn't matter what the percentage is. All that matters to me is that it's cheaper for me, $75 per application, than a lot of my campaigns, and it still converts really well into new clients. Now, I've done this with television interviews that I've been featured on. I've done it with podcast interviews that I've been featured on, like Entrepreneur and Fire. And obviously, I've done it with both Entrepreneur Magazine and Forbes Magazine. So again, someone here may say, well, I don't have $11,000 to spend. Well, look, this would have never gotten to $11,000 unless I was making a return on investment along the way. I didn't just shell out 11 grand first, right? I tested it. I sent $100 to it, $200, $500, and started testing the quality of the traffic, the quality of the applications that were coming in. I saw that they were really, really high quality, and we started spending more and more money on it, to the point where just this one campaign, in just the last few months, I've spent about $11,500. So again, 3 steps to the system. Have a system in place to regularly get PR and media. I focus now on podcast. Have a simple, highly desirable offer that gets people to take the next step with you, right? That ideally leads to money for you, whatever that looks like in your funnel. And then number 3, repurpose that. And ideally, you find a way to repurpose that with paid advertising, because when you can make paid advertising work for you, then guess what? You write your own ticket in business. And what I found is that a fantastic way to repurpose your media and PR is with paid advertising to some kind of really great offer that you're giving. Anyway, that's our training for today. I hope that's super helpful for you. Do me a favor, leave a comment. And hey, I might have something special for you. I'll let you know more about that afterwards. But if this is helpful, do me a favor and leave a comment below. All right. Now I'm here for you guys. So I did that training. I did that training. I put it together for you, but obviously what I've done is I've repurposed it to try to use it as a lead magnet for my own stuff. What questions do you have for me now that I've stopped sharing my screen? Does all this make sense to you? Didn't know about Snipply. Great tip. Pete says, yep. And guess what? It's free. The only time you have to pay for Snipply is when you start sending thousands of clicks to it. Then you have to start paying for it. So I have a pro account with Snipply just because we spend so much money sending clicks to it. So you can test all of this for free. There's even more that I could tell you about this, but let's start with just the questions that you have, and I'll see what kind of more information I can share with you. Let's see, Dr. Abraham, how are you? You have a question. Did you ask the question in the chat box, or do you want me to unmute you? Happy to unmute you.
Yeah, unmute if you can. Unmute if you can.
There we go. Listen, I hope you're pulled over. It looks like you're in a car. So
I am in a car.
You'll be talking and driving.
No, I'm not doing that.
Good, good. What's your question?
Okay, I mean, I came a little bit late, so I apologize. But, you know, a couple thoughts. One is, I mean, you got the Entrepreneur magazine to feature you. That was the major step right there, right?
Sure.
That you got. So how did that happen?
Yeah. So it happened a couple of different ways. So I don't have just Entrepreneur. I've been in Forbes. I've been on TV all over, as well as big podcasts. And I've used multiple of these things to repurpose. So how did I get it done? It wasn't an overnight process. I had to keep reaching out to people that I was building a relationship with on Entrepreneur, on Forbes, et cetera, to the point where they wanted to finally do an article on me. Now, there are ways to shortcut that. There are ways to pay to play, right? Where you can actually just write a check and get on Forbes or get on Entrepreneur. It's more expensive. It's not cheap, but you can actually do that. So most of what we do, you know, we have 3 full-time publicists. What we do for our clients is we've built relationships over the last 4 or 5 years of us doing this, and we try to get you featured on the best media that we can. That doesn't mean I can get you on Entrepreneur or Forbes. I do have some clients. I mean, I just brought on a new client. Actually, he's been with me for a long time. I've done multiple books. And he said, Rob, I want to get on Entrepreneur or Forbes, and I want to do that immediately. And I said, look, you can pay me for PR, but I can't guarantee that. Or I could, you know, work some magic and you could just pay to play and get a guaranteed placement. So he chose to do that just because he didn't have the time to wait and to test it, to get it done. So
how much did it cost to do that, to pay for that?
They have packages. So in this case, it was a package of one standalone article on either Entrepreneur or Forbes, just like the one that I showed you I got, and 3 joint articles over a period of 3 months, and that was $12,500. So it wasn't cheap. You know, if it's a pay to play, it's going to be for one standalone article, it'll probably be $7 or $8 grand, and they try to do a bunch of articles at a little bit cheaper overall price so that there's some longevity to it. So anyway, look, we've gotten clients featured on, you know, these big magazines. I just can't guarantee it as part of the PR package. And I think you have the PR package.
I do, yeah.
So we're going to get you, you know, radio, TV, that kind of stuff that you can repurpose it. You know, the print articles work really well though. They work strong with this repurposing.
Okay, let me ask you another question. I'm kind of new to the whole social media thing.
Do that, and then I want to go to some of these other questions too. So go ahead. Okay,
so once you have that article or the podcast or the radio show done,
yep,
and you've got some kind of, you know, a picture of it or whatever it is, you put that up on Facebook, people find it, and that's how you move them into your funnel.
Well, yes and no. So I showed you guys Snipply, snip.ly, snip.ly. And Snipply, you can take any link and you can basically put over that link your specific call to action. So, for example, if I'm going to send people to my Entrepreneur on Fire podcast with John Lee Dumas, John Lee has that podcast featured on his website, Entrepreneur on Fire. So I can't put a call to action on his website. So what I do is I use Sniply and I send people to that link. It still looks like it goes to his website, but my call to action is placed over it. And so that's the way you're going to do it. And Sniply, you can just get a free account with Sniply and test it out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome, my friend. And I'm going to put Sniply in the comments section for everybody as well. Great. So let me go ahead and mute yourself if you can, Doc.
Mm-hmm.
And then let me see if I can answer some of these other questions. And if somebody has a specific question that they want answered that you need me to unmute you, then I will do that as well for you. So let's see what we have here. Jean says, very helpful as always. Thank you, my friend. Paul says, great share. Christy, great job. Ads Manager is inside Facebook. Yes, Christy. So Ads Manager is what we use to run ads within our Facebook account. We have a couple of different Facebook ads account that we run. We run one ads from my bestseller publishing business page. We run some sets of ads from my Rob Kosberg Publish, Promote, Profit page. I think these ads were run from our NJC Consulting, which is part of Rob Kosberg. So yes, all of that is inside Facebook. Joanna says, that was hot. Love this, Rob. It is cool, isn't it? I mean, by the way, the $75 per person, as far as the applications that we receive, that was blended. When we first started this, I was getting apps as cheap as 20 or 30 bucks. I mean, this works really, really great right out of the gate. Claire says, hi, Rob. Never heard of Sniply before, so that's very informative. Thank you. You are so welcome. Pete says, sweet. Paul says, how much is that, Rob? If you're asking about how much is like the pro account for Sniply, it's pretty inexpensive, Paul. I think it's like, I don't know, 10 bucks a month or 20 bucks a month or something like that. But you're never going to need that until you're like sending thousands of people a month to Sniply. And even I think the limit is like 5,000 or 10,000 for the free account. So the free account's really good. Jean says, makes sense, but it is, of course, correlated with the first article, in your case, entrepreneur. Yes, but it doesn't have to be entrepreneur. It can be a TV appearance that you got. It can be, a big podcast that you got with an influencer in your space, right? It could be a blog article that you got with an influencer in your space. Yes, everyone knows entrepreneur, but remember, my niche is very entrepreneurial focused, meaning that potentially anybody that's interested in Entrepreneur Magazine is a potential client for me. That's not true for you, say, Jean, right? I mean, you have a more narrow focus, people that are interested in your specific area of expertise. That's the same is true for all of you here. You have a specific narrow area of expertise. So if you got a great blog or podcast that like is very highly thought of in your narrow niche, you could repurpose that. Because who cares if I know about it? It doesn't matter if I know about it or not if I'm not your target audience or market. So always keep that in mind. Your target audience or market is really important. Robert says, is the kind of stuff you'll share in the event this week? Is this the kind of stuff? Yeah, 100%. In fact, I'm going to go into more detail on this campaign during the event. So I'm going to kind of open this more up. But yes, this is exactly the kind of stuff that I do at the event. So 100%. How much is that? Paul asked. So yeah, I think I answered that. Greenwich, fantastic information. You are welcome. Joanna says, I wrote a blog for a global magazine. Can I repurpose a post on it for my Facebook and put Sniply on there to have them click now to go to a sales page? You can, Joanna, but if you write the blog, I would imagine you control it on your website. So you don't need Sniply. Just have a have a call to action right on your website, like have a pop-up, right? Or something like that right on your site. You don't need to use Sniply if you control, the creative, if you control the website that people are going to. Now, okay, so the website's not yours. So yes, then you could use Sniply for that 100%. If you're writing a blog post for like Thrive, which is, who is that? I've already forgotten who owns Thrive, but they have a big market, but you don't control, the actual content. You give the content and then they post on their site. Then yes, you can use that and repurpose it and send people to it through Sniply and have your own kind of call to action on it. 100%. Paul says, thanks, Rob. You are welcome, my friend. Joanna says, website's not mine. I answered that. Good. So what else can I answer for you? I hope this is helpful. Perfect. Thanks. You are welcome. This is kind of stuff that we do. As you guys know, you can see over there, that's my free plus shipping funnel. I do not have it complete yet, but I am looking to launch an incomplete funnel because I want to get some traffic data before the Friday client-only event. So if you're coming to that, by the way, if you're not coming to that, don't worry about it. I do these events regularly. And generally speaking, I only want you to come to that if you've already completed your book and ideally the whole program, because then, this is going to make more sense. If you haven't completed your book and all that, then no, you don't need to come to this. Plus, it's only for our done-for-you clients. It's not for any of the info marketing, if you've bought like do-it-yourself stuff. But if you are coming to it, this is the kind of stuff that we do and that I dive deep into, because this is where the real money comes from. This is how you turn your book into, a lead generation funnel that continues to pump in clients on a regular basis. And now you can control the flow of clients into your business. Christy says, can you post your workbooks on the Facebook account? I heard someone suggest to make them into worksheets bundled into a workbook. Is that how yours was developed? Basically, yes. And I am happy to do that when they're complete. They won't be complete for the next probably 24 to 48 hours. So I'll post them in the Facebook group so that you guys can have them 100%. They're really cool. I love how they're coming out and love what they look like. And they're going to be a real like component to my free plus shipping funnel. Christy's saying, did you use the tool to create it? I did not. You're asking InDesign. InDesign is what they were created in, but we basically paid our formatter to do it. So we created the actual content in a Google Doc because that was simple for me to use and to work with Sarah, who is one of my team members here at BSP right over in the other office. Sarah, basically went through my book and created 3 workbooks from Publish, Promote, and Profit. And then I kind of edited it, changed some things, added some things, and then we sent that to our designer who used InDesign to design the workbooks themselves. So obviously helpful for me to have designers on staff that can do all that. And then Steve is doing my covers, and then I have an outside printer that's going to be doing the printing for me. Chris says that's something we could pay to have done. It is. I don't have a number on it. It shouldn't be too expensive to have it done, but yeah, that's something that you could pay us and we'll get done for you. Absolutely. Yep. No problem. Good. Great questions. You are welcome, Christy. What else can I answer for you? Anything else? Anything that stands out that would be interesting to you and helpful, whether it's on this topic or another topic? If not, then great to be with you. I hope this is really helpful. Sean says he had a question about your cover. I saw you posted, John, in the group about your cover. So if you're looking for some feedback, or feel free to ask a question, but if you're looking for feedback, let me just say to everybody, if you would please go to the Facebook group and check out on the Facebook group Jean's cover and give him some feedback. That would be great. Was that your question, John? You want people to give you feedback on it? Awesome. And by the way, please do that for Jean and post like on the Facebook post your feedback, because when it comes time for you to get feedback, he's going to remember it, and all the other people are going to remember it, and they're going to want to give you feedback as well. It's part of being a part of the community. Ellen, look forward to seeing you. I can't wait to hear about the cool things you're doing, and look forward to spending some extra time with you. Pete says, in the group, one of the authors requested us to post reviews on Amazon, even though we haven't read it. Do you recommend doing that? No, I do not. You need to read some of it to post a review. So I'm not sure who did that. I know Kim is asking for reviews on her book, but her book is live now. So my expectation would be that she would want you to buy the book and then review it. Now, Kim's doing it differently than I suggested. Kim is actually offering the softcover version for $9.95 because she's got a good size audience and is asking them to buy it and review it. That's not how we recommend getting the reviews initially, because that's going to greatly reduce the number of reviews, because the number of people that want to spend $10 to offer a review is going to be more limited than the number of people willing to spend 99 cents. If you're willing to do that for Kim, please do. I've left the post up. It's totally up to you to do it. And what I'd say is that's part of the community, right? You want to have other people to do that for you within the community, so you want to do it for them. But I do always tell my authors you should do that at the digital version for 99 cents rather than, the higher priced softcover version. So I leave that to you, whether or not this is something that you want to do there, because it is a little bit more expensive. Anyway, you guys are great. You're welcome for the clarification. Those of you that are coming to the event, I super look forward to spending some time with you on Friday and Saturday. And otherwise, I will talk to all of you again next Tuesday. Have a great day.